You know what it is. You know what it is. Your boy Ejay The DJ, man. We in Mississippi, and it's only right I had to come kick you with the boss man of all bosses. You know what it is. My boy Billy Stokes.
What's good, man?
My God. How you doing?
That's Ejay The DJ.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here, brother.
Now that I see you moving around and you're making a lot of things happen quietly, and I gotta respect you and tip my hat up to you because you're making the proper steps. Just want to get an understanding of being a black man and in the business. How important of making the right moves in business is to the people that's trying to get to the level you are right now.
Well, I'll agree with you that I'm likely not a very known figure publicly, but we have made quite a few moves, and our network is growing extensively year over year. As it pertains to making the right moves, if you're asking me my advice, what I would suggest to people who are striving to do better in the industry, networking.
Networking.
Right? Build your network.
Got you.
Because one of my favorite saying is a lone wolf is a dead wolf.
I definitely agree with you with that. And I love you said networking, right? Because that's an easy thing to say. Everybody says networking. Explain networking to somebody that don't know, because a lot of people say networking. People think, oh, I'm just going to meet you, and then that's networking. Explain networking in the best way for somebody that's like really want to understand business.
Networking is establishing family, right? Family that you can, for lack of a better word, exploit. Some people may say collaborate, right? But everybody that you meet are not established to take you where you want to go.
Agreed.
Okay, so people are what I call, there are people who clean dog poop in your front yard, and there are people who work with you in the penthouse, right? Everybody's relevant along the entire line. If you don't want shit on your foot, right, then you value the guy who takes care of your yard as much as you value the guy who sits with you and counsels you in the penthouse, so to speak, right? What we strive to do is we take ground root companies, production companies, record companies who are skilled at developing the artists that they have. We partner with them. We give them support by granting them access to global brands, access to the marketing machine, the promotion machine, so on and so forth. And we emphasize that all members of the network work with other members of the network without exception. We also clean everything. So when we bring artists in who are straight from the streets, because that's what we shop at, yes, right? All street level artists are the future of all business, right? So it's like athletes. If you don't catch them in the project, you likely don't have anything by the time you get to college, right?
You're right.
So we catch our artists while they're rough from the streets, skilled, right? And refined them by working with them. Our member organizations are skilled in, for lack of a better word, counseling,
okay,
therapy,
yes,
laying in the cut with you until you get it right. We emphasize the importance to produce commercial music so that you can put yourself in the limelight, be heard, and benefit from your craft. Most artists don't understand that if people are threatened by your presence, if they're threatened by your music, you can't make money with it
at all.
And there are going to be people who are going to tell you, hey, listen, man, keep it real, right? Be you, do you, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you're going to put in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you will have made no money. You spent everything you pretty much own, and you're going to outgrow your skill set,
yeah,
right,
and your demographics,
and your demographic. Well, you'll never really have a demographic, right? So anyway, once an artist is refined, and they have music that's radio ready, as well as the street music, because we don't tell artists that they can't do their street music. We just said you need your radio version and your hood version, right, so that you can be a complete artist if that's the kind of artist you are.
Yeah.
And we got them from there. Each artist is represented by their management, right? We don't deal with artists outside of their management, right?
Okay.
And we rely on that management to help with artist development. Once artists reach the point to where they are competent and willing to be a better version of artists, then they are acceptable to the individuals in the industry who are looking to deal with artists from the hood but don't want the liability.
That's another thing too, because when you say artists from the hood, it's a big liability. How do you work around that? Because like you said, that's what we shopping at in the hoods. It's liability because so much goes on with rappers and the violence. A lot of rappers don't make it. How do you go around? How do you go around the liability?
The hood is not a difficult place to work in. The hood only requires one thing in order for it to make its metamorphosis, its change. It requires an adequate trade-off. So if a person is making their living or living their life with a certain standard, and you come to that person, you say, hey, listen, I want you to do this with me. Make this change with me. All they want to know is, can you compensate me equally so that I can make this change without being difficult on me?
That definitely makes sense. It just from my personal point of view of being a DJ and working with artists, the liabilities seem much higher nowadays. I know in the 90s when hip hop was like really taking off with the baggy jeans and Timberlands, it was rough. It was rough and tough. But I feel like the ratio of rappers getting killed in now society in the 2000s. But I'm gonna say now, like in the last 10 years, been really high than when I feel like gangster rap was really like at its all time high. Just my personal opinion.
Our people, for the most part, are true to their creed. Even if a man or a woman doesn't have a formal education, we do understand what it means to keep our word.
Yes,
right.
That's important.
And since we volunteer to do the things we do, when we make that decision to volunteer, we're all in. Even if we're following the lead of someone whose interests aren't in our best interest.
Gotcha.
Right? And most of the time when we join organizations, affiliations, and so on and so forth, it's under the guise of family, right? You need someone to have your back, and we have your back. And when you get inside of these organizations, you find that the people who are in charge are deviants for the most part. They don't care about your life because they'll either take it or give it away. Mm-hmm. They don't care about your person because they will prostitute you and in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
They will flip you as a man and they will flip you as a woman and care nothing about your end state, your psychological, your mental, your emotional state after the fact, and still make you hold up for your creed, for your promise, for your vow, but they won't hold up for theirs. But because we give our word, we ride it out to the end, looking for that promise to be fulfilled. It never happens.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to situations like that, the people who are trapped in these circles, in terms of liberating them from those situations, this comes down to right conversation.
Yeah.
We're not beyond a conversation that is rational. We're beyond a conversation that does not offer a better alternative. So if you have advice but no solutions, you can keep your advice.
I agree with you with that.
And that's the way the streets see these conversations. When people come into the hood and they say, hey, listen, do this, do that, or be this way or be that way in conversations, but they provide no resources for you to accomplish it.
Yeah.
And for a person who's living from day to day on their own hustle, on their own grind, that conversation is moot.
I can understand that 100%. I definitely understand that.
Right.
Yeah. So your company AGE, how could that help artists today? Like what's the goal to help artists put them in position?
I liken AGE, Artisan Global Empire, and the Artisan Global Empire. Artisan stands for crafts and trades person.
Okay.
A person who's skilled, whether it's oratory, whether it's working with your hands, whether it's working with your mind, an artisan in general. Global, of course, global.
Yes.
And empire is our relationship with, shout out to Waleed Coyote, is our relationship with Empire Music Distribution.
Okay.
A few years back, roughly 6, I was working with the concept of bringing Southern soul music to the forefront as a genre. And it had no major label to back it or to support it as a genre. So I went to Atlanta, Georgia to see if Empire would allow us to gain distribution through them and use of their brand to validate Southern Soul. And Waleed Coyote was kind enough to allow us to come in, and not only to come in, understanding that the artists that we were bringing to the table were not the same caliber of the artists that they normally have on their record, on their label. He still allowed us to bring these up and coming artists onto their scene and gave us global distribution and credibility.
That's important.
By allowing us to merge, if you would, our brands with their brand.
That's amazing. So if an artist is tuned in right now, they don't have direction, but they want to be a part of your organization, your label, how do they get in contact with you? How could they see what they could do? Like, how could an artist get next to you?
Getting next to me is very difficult. All right, so I have a gatekeeper, and that's my girl, Lady Red, Michelle. And Michelle handles all of the companies, for the most part, production companies, record companies, individuals who come with a camp. She screens them and makes sure that if anyone do get a conversation with me,
it's worth it.
Because one of the things I have to have more than anything is understanding from the get go. If we can't go commercial, it doesn't matter what you're bringing to the table. We can't use you.
I agree.
Right, and a lot of artists don't want to clean up their lyrics because they've been deceived into believing that not having moral and ethical filters makes them look soft. Well, having moral and ethical filters gets you into movies, get you endorsement deals, get you on the radio, sits you in front of kings, presidents, princes, and so on and so forth. And having no filter will ensure that every door that you knock on is closed to you. That every venue that values its venue is closed to you. That every mother who has a child will not associate with you if they care about what their child is consuming.
I agree with you.
Every father who's looking to protect his family will make sure that you're not one of those people that get invited to their house day in and day out, right? So staying with the philosophy of keeping it real, if keeping it real means that you have no moral and no ethical filters.
Yeah.
And mind you, when I say moral and ethical filters, I don't necessarily mean that you choose not to use profanity, or that you choose not to tell your story. It's just that when you tell your story, you have to edit that music so that when you are thinking about marketing and promoting yourself, when you're thinking about getting an endorsement deal or hunting down a sponsor or looking for a venue to perform.
Yeah.
When you give your music to people and they listen to it, they'll know within the first minute and 30 seconds if you are the type of person who's irrational or rational.
Okay.
And as an artist, you want to be rational. And if this is the reason I don't deal with artists straight up too. And it's the reason that I only work with management companies, production companies, recording companies, because they already have a relationship with their artists to the point to where if they make a suggestion, the artist is likely to hear it.
Yes.
So they're the first level of counsel.
Okay.
That I implement.
Yeah.
And if you want to leverage global brands, the name of global brands with your own brand so that you can have a decent shot at succeeding in this industry,
yeah,
you will make those little micro steps and correct your artists and your producers and your editors so that you can have a product that your people can eat off of.
Nah, that's important. See, like I said, he's giving you jewels and understand what he's saying. I know some of your artists might be good off your heads, but y'all could rewind this again, listen to it, take some notes, and understand what he's saying, because it's always a process. It's always of the hierarchy. So he's the boss of our bosses, so you got to understand what he's saying. Understand management is important. Having a team is important. Don't overlook that. Don't think that you're above the program. Nobody's bigger than a program. So as you're an artist, understand how to maneuver, understand how to network, understand how to develop these tools to help you excel, because that's what's going to keep you alive in this game 10 years, 15 years. A lot of artists don't get ahead by just doing it. You got to really understand what you're doing, how to elevate it on every level. Like you said, commercial music, that's really important. So what you got in the future for your company?
When we first started off, all of our artists were raw and very dangerous. I mean, our first network event, when our first attempt to clean the music up, we had a couple of cats slip through the loop. We were in a public environment. We were out on the beach, you know.
Yeah.
And in Mississippi, it was historical because we were the first African Americans that were allowed to perform out on the beach, you know, with your feet on the sand, right?
Yes.
And so on and so forth. And so we needed to put forth the best possible face that we could. And someone slipped in a flash drive for his music, and he came out, and man, he killed everybody in the audience. I mean, it was red dots and green dots, and you know, nobody's daughter was safe. I mean, he was laying it down. I had to, you know, have him cut the music really quick because we needed to get his microphone cold. And that brother turned to me and he said, and he went in and, you know, he threatened to take down everything but my grandkids.
Oh, wow.
Right? And we had a couple of those. But thanks to Letty Red and others, she worked tirelessly to help us get rid of those who were not ready for change and to cultivate those who were ready for change. Yeah. And 2 years into our clean music, and once we got things cleaned up, of course, we nailed a great deal with the largest radio station on the planet in terms of being able to get our music heard and globally. Yeah. Of course, we landed and then some better deals with the Empire thing. Okay. We picked up the world's largest cannabis company in terms of partnerships. That's 50% of everything made on what the face of the product would earn.
That's a big deal right there.
Because of our relationship with in the type of music that we do, we landed our very first sports franchise contract with with the War Dogs in Alabama.
Okay.
We now do their entertainment, their opening show, the patriotic thing, the halftime show, and the after parties associated with it, as well as everything that's on their calendar for the entire year. We're allowed to be there to provide that entertainment for amazing. That. And this is all paid. Yeah. So that's 50% of all sales upfront for providing the entertainment.
Look at that.
And I've been invited to go to the Dominican Republic to meet the president there. Okay. Because of the clean music, and they wanted us to come over and work with them. They also want to integrate with us on the AGE side of things and get distribution for their artists there.
That's a big market.
Not to mention, Africa is hot on our trails. We just established our first charitable foundation in Freetown, Africa, in Sierra Leone, and we're providing food, water, snacks, and various services to them there as a 501c3. That's Global World Outreach, our charitable arm, and a whole lot more. But things are escalating. Hell, we just got an invitation to go hang out with T.I. That's 20 seats in there, and we're also we've also been asked to provide catering services for the event. To say that there's not just opportunity in music. Music has opened the door for us to do other services and get paid for them. Yes. That we didn't have opportunity to do before we decided to network and present ourselves friendly. Yes. So that people could feel good about inviting us into their house, knowing that we would behave well. We would respect their property and their lives and give them the type of entertainment they wanted and other services that they need that they didn't even know they needed from us.
Yeah. Man, listen. That's important. I'm excited. I just learned the history lesson right here. Learned some valuable jewels. Learned something. So this is the goal to have these conversations. But has the goal to have these conversations, right? I want y'all to learn something. I want y'all to understand why I'm bringing them here, why I'm sitting down with them, because y'all want to understand this business. Y'all want to be a part of the business, but y'all don't understand who's the heavy hitters, how they get to them, and how to understand the chain of command. So you got to understand that. So I want to give you the steps to understand the goal of it is to be with a company that can help you grow. But most importantly, you got to help the company grow, because what you add is what you help grow as a whole, because you got to add your sauce and mix up together, and it comes one big pie. So this is what I'm doing for y'all, independent artists. So I want y'all to understand what's going on. He's here, AGE, you know what it is, and he last minute words.
Yes. In the business that we're in, and this is across the board, you're going to find yourself working with people who are very excited about working with you, but they don't know what they're doing, or they only know what they're doing to a certain extent. They can only go so far. In our community, when your partner has taken you as far as your partner can take you, they don't tell you, I've reached my limit, I'm at my capacity, I can't go any further, there's nothing else I can do for you past what I've done. They don't tell you that. And because they don't tell you that, they're embarrassed that they can't get you to the next level, so they'll self-sabotage you. They'll destroy your entire plan, whatever you're working on, whatever you contracted to. When they see that you are making the effort to pull past them, they will have conversations with people, they will do things, and they will sabotage your whole career just so that they can keep you where you are. Wow. And they will start you over at that point over and over and over again, and you'll spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years not knowing why you can't get to the next level. And the answer is the people who you partner with are keeping you from getting to that next level on purpose. Because they themselves, even though they talk the game, they can't walk the walk. Now, this doesn't mean that person isn't vital. You can take your entourage with you to the top, but you have to be competent enough to know that your entourage has the limits that it has, and then seek counsel past that. And check your entourage so that whoever it is in your clique who's been sabotaging your success, they're under control.
Yeah.
Hire somebody or partner with somebody who can take you to that next level. And then you can take your entourage, even if you got to leave your people. I hate to say it like this.
It's reality.
Even if you got to leave your people, your entire clique, and come back and get them, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to.
If you don't make it, nobody ain't going to make it.
I agree with you 100%.
Right? So if you got that talent and people are coming at you and they're offering you deals and your boys are like, man, screw that.
Yeah.
We came in this together, we ride together, we rock together. That's all bullcrap, right? Because if somebody coming to you with a check and you're not currently making a check, and your people refuse to go with you because that person is saying you're what we want and they're not what we want, my advice to you is go. And the reason I say this is because in entertainment, whether you like it or not, or whether you understand it or not, there's only one boss of you as an entertainer. Your manager works for you.
Yep.
The record company works for you.
Yes, they do.
The production company works for you.
You're right.
Every penny made is made because of you. You're the fucking boss. I hate to say it, like, excuse my profanity, but you're the boss. And artists don't understand that everybody work for them. Yeah. Everybody gets 20% of, your management is going to get 20% of everything you do. That don't make your manager your boss.
Yeah.
Right? The record label is going to get, they're going to offer you whatever they're going to offer you. But the truth is, they got to give you what you ask for and take what you allow them to have. The distribution company, 20%. That don't make them the boss of you. That makes you the boss. You got 80 over 20. How can you not be the boss?
Yeah.
Right? But since it's not explained to artists that they are the boss and that everybody works for them, the artist allows people to big brain them and to take from them everything that it is that belongs to them, from their royalties to their performance paychecks when they go out and do a club thing, or whenever you do an endorsement deal or whatever. Man, 100% that's your money.
Your money.
Right, that's your money.
Don't leave it on the table.
And if you don't know this, if you don't understand this, then you're going to consider yourself working for somebody who's working for you. Right?
You're right. And
that's going to cost you in the end. So if somebody don't want to see you grow and thrive, if you have a valid deal on the table or a valid offer, take that offer and then come back and get your people. You can come get your people when you bread it up.
Yeah.
Your people are going to be mad when you jet initially, but they're going to be glad when you come back and get them.
That's a fact.
And last thing I'm going to tell you is this. If you have an entourage, if you have your day ones, go back and get your day ones, because you're going to need somebody. Once you get your bread up, once you become wealthy or rich, everybody you know going to be a shark and a killer, right? And the only people who are going to see you for you are the people who grew up with you in your lifetime. You don't need them to be rich. You don't need them to be wealthy.
Yep.
You need them to be there around you as your support system, because those are the people who get you best. You can go to sleep with them. You can laugh with them. You can drink with them. You can rock with them. You can go out with them. And your life is good. And you're happy.
Yes, that's most important.
But when you surround yourself with strangers, they're going to drug you out. They're going to pimp you out. They're going to isolate you. They're going to trick you with words. They're going to trick you with contracts and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And you'll end up, at the end of the day, very miserable, alone, and isolated, with nothing to show for it in 15, 20 years.
Man, listen. You heard it first. It's only right. You heard it first. The knowledge is here. The wisdom is here. Only thing we're looking at now is you to learn, understand where we at. Billy Stokes, appreciate it. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the advice. Artists, this is the opportunity now. Comment, like, share. You know what it is. Ejay The DJ. I'm outside no sidewalks. We just having a good time. Mississippi, we appreciate it. Appreciate Mississippi. They said they call it the sip. We still here. We rocking. We vibing. You know what it is. Until next time. Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Peace.